All right, it's 10 o'clock, and let's get started. I think more people can file in as this proceeds. But certainly, you're aware of the devastating earthquake in Afghanistan, and um, and we expect at some point in the coming hours to have a statement from the Secretary General about this. Uh, we are very pleased to have with us today Ramiz Alakbarov, our resident coordinator and humanitarian coordinator in Afghanistan, and he can talk to you about the situation there. Mr. Alakbarov, welcome.
Thank you very much. Can I confirm that I'm audible from Kabul?
You are very perfectly audible, as if you were right here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for organizing this interaction with media. And basically, unfortunately, not very good news today from Kabul, from Afghanistan. Today, about 1:30 a.m. in the morning, actually, I was still awake and I felt very strongly the tremor even in Kabul, as I was still working at a late hour. A 5.9 magnitude earthquake struck the central region of Afghanistan, impacting mostly Paktika and Khost provinces. What we gather now that the actual depth of the epicenter was quite close to the surface. It probably no more than 10 kilometers. That's what we're told by the experts. And the direct impact was taken by several districts of Afghanistan. And we're talking about Dermal, Zirok, Nika, and Gayan districts in Paktika, and Spera and district in Khost province. The epicenter, the worst of what we are seeing now is in the Gayan district, Paktika province. I would not speculate the number of the casualties and wounded. We received different estimates. The people are still being taken out of the rubble wherever it is possible. But definitely more will emerge as we're moving into. We were talking about the hundreds. Let's see what numbers we will be talking tomorrow. I will not speculate about the numbers at this point in time. For the parts of the day, heavy rain and wind had prevented the rescue teams of doing more. At the national level, the de facto authorities, the Office of Disaster Management and Humanitarian Affairs, and the de facto authority Ministry of Defense have been leading the response on their side. We deployed about 45 ambulances to Paktika, and the Paktika, that's from the Ministry of Defense, and Paktika Provincial Health Department also dispatched additional ambulances. From our side, we have deployed the resources immediately. Our teams and NGOs, and I would like to recognize IOM, DRC, Dakar, UNICEF, WHO, WFP, International Rescue Committee, Norwegian Refugee Council, CARE, UNICEF, World Food Program. Everybody is responding in a very concise manner. I could say that to the moment, we already shipped about 10 tons, which is a volume of 95 cubic meters of essential medical supplies and medicines. That includes 30 emergency health kits, 50 surgical health kits, teams of surgeons, medical doctors. I could further add to this that a number of medical specialists were deployed in mobile health teams, we call them mobile health teams. So a total of 18 mobile health teams that are deployed in the Paktika province, and additional 8 ambulances and 2 medical health teams were sent to the Spera. So Gayan is, Paktika is, sorry, there's a noise online.
Please continue. We can still hear you.
Thank you very much. Probably somebody has to unmute herself because yes, thank you. Thank you. It's much better. So these are the actual facts. There is food, tents being delivered. The affected people are being evacuated to the regional hospitals. As I said, weather conditions are not very favorable, at least today. We had snow yesterday in central parts of Afghanistan. There was a drop of the temperature, and rain's been going now since yesterday. So in this particular environment, we are conducting a rapid assessment of the situation. More will be known tomorrow, obviously. The mobile teams have reached all locations, and the mentioned districts are in the center of the attention. Of course, we do not have, as UN, we do not have, our teams do not have a specific equipment to take people from under the rubble. This has to rely mostly on the efforts of the de facto authorities, which also have certain limitations in that respect. And the rescue effort continue at the moment on the ground. So these are the elements which we have in place. Preliminary estimates, we're talking of what has been seen, probably at least $15 million will be required immediately to respond to multi-sectoral needs. We're concerned about not just non-food items and getting people into shelters and providing medical supplies, but also preventing waterborne diseases, obviously a destruction of such scale, plus rain and lack of sanitation cause an outbreak of a disease, and that could be a waterborne disease and would be a very, very unwelcome scenario. So let me briefly stop there and take questions, because I believe at this point in time, it will be better that I answer questions which may come from us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll turn over to the floor. First, James Bays from Al Jazeera.
Acting SRSG, James Bays from Al Jazeera. Good to see you again on sad circumstances today. Can you tell me, will you need resources from outside Afghanistan to be sent to Afghanistan? And can you perhaps tell us a little bit more about the geography? I've been to Paktika. It's pretty mountainous in places. How difficult is the geography you're dealing with? And the second part of that question, clearly a year ago, you would have had Western militaries with their helicopters. You would have had the Afghan National Army with their helicopters. Do you have enough air support in order to get all the supplies that you'd need now? Because I don't think the Taliban have quite the same capabilities as were in the country a year ago.
Thank you very much, James. Indeed, good to see you again, and I hope I'll see you soon on the grounds again. To be very frank, we have seen the deployment of helicopters from the de facto Ministry of Defense side. There was 4 to 5 helicopters deployed today in the sites. In terms of geography, our flash report number 1 is already posted on the website. It gives you a geographical map and how the areas are affected. We could see that the heaviest of the impact definitely is on the Gian, Spera, and Khost. The epicenter is very close to the Pakistani border, but then obviously Nika and Shamal districts are affected as well. But Gian is definitely within the what we would assess as a borderline 6 and above, or around the 6 Richter scale. So that's where the most of the destructions are. We believe that nearly 2,000 homes are destroyed, people are displaced. You've been many times on the grounds, including just before the 15th August. Those families living in one house, sometimes there's several families. An average size of an Afghan family is at least 7-8 people. So you may imagine what a preliminary estimate of nearly 2,000 destructed homes in that area may mean. Definitely, we do not have the capacity, as I said, for taking people from under the rubble. Such capacity does not exist. We had preliminary contacts with some of the regional countries. So based on the necessities, which we will be made clear probably in the morning, we will then formally ask them to provide such support or not. I will not speculate about it further today. The de facto authorities have some capacity and some machinery I'm still unclear at this point in time. I don't have the detailed reports how well positioned they are to operate and deploy such a machinery to these mountainous areas. We're talking basically mountainous areas towards the border of the Pakistan. This is also between the Khost and Paktika provinces. I hope I answered your question, James.
Edward?
Hi, Mr. Alakbarov. This is Deji Xu with China Central Television. I have two questions. Since you just mentioned that the number of the death toll and people who displaced because of the earthquake might be rising, do you have any long-term plan for those displaced people to help them to find somewhere to shelter themselves? And second, since would this be will there be any disruption for the normal humanitarian assistance for the UN in Afghanistan, given the fact that you probably might relocate the resources currently to the rescue of the earthquake? Thank you.
Thank you very much for this question. First of all, we are managing arguably one of the largest humanitarian operations in the world. So gladly enough, we do have sufficient staff and capacity on the ground to deploy immediately. When it comes to a displacement, the standard package which we offer, and this country which had suffered so much, definitely we know how to deal with the situation of displacement. So it's a package of assistance we offer to any displaced family in Afghanistan. It includes cash, it includes non-food items, it includes or support for settlement in place. So this is being provided. Unfortunately, there is a noise again. Sure.
Sorry, I think there's a problem of internet connection.
Second, you'll need to repeat that bit again. Is the audio back up? Okay. Please start with that last sentence again, Mr. Alakbarov.
Yes. Thank you so much. Yes, it's much better now. So that package usually includes immediate provision of $250 equivalent of cash, plus home utensils, essential nutrition package, a 3-day supply of food and things like that. It obviously will add to our numbers. We did not receive and I pray this noise continues. I will try to speak as
Hold on just one second.
Yeah.
Again, the audio is cutting out. 1 second. We're trying to restore that. It should be good again now. Sorry.
Thank you very much. Yes. Provision of assistance will continue. I also would like to say that already several partners, including United Kingdom, was the first one to reach to us today, and backed by several other partners, including European Union, ECHO, with their readiness to support the relief efforts with additional funds. They are already funding us generally. I do believe that in the coming days we will make announcements of what this will constitute in terms of financial assistance. Definitely, half of Afghanistan's population is already in humanitarian crisis. We spoke about that. Mm-hmm. You probably followed me on BBC a few days ago when we were covering the humanitarian situation from the markets of Kabul. There, the people are buying the bread, which already expired as a dried bread, which previously fed to animals. The situation in the country is very difficult, and this does add to the burden. This does add a lot to a daily burden of survival in this particular setting. So I'm not optimistic today. I'm grateful. More needs to be done. Grateful to the donors who already reached out. And we are ready and responding on the ground. So that's the message. Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope I answered your question.
Thanks. We'll now turn to one of our... Sorry, we'll now turn to one of our people from online, Michelle Nichols from Reuters.
Hi, thank you so much for the briefing. A couple of questions. You said at the start, I just wanted to clarify the number for a sort of immediate assessment of what you might need. Did you say $50 million, 50? And you said you've reached out to regional countries about search and rescue capabilities. Who have you reached out to? What has their response been so far? And how do you think, how would you sort of assess the Taliban authorities' response so far? This could be a sort of test of their first test for them. Thanks.
Thank you very much. The preliminary needs which were assessed today, already request came for additional $15 million, and I don't know for how much they will ask tomorrow. So I'm talking only about the needs which were as the spot immediate needs asked for today. Now, when it comes to the rescue capacity, the regional countries don't have that much. The country which is best positioned to provide it will be Turkey. We spoke about the Embassy of Turkey here on the grounds, and they're waiting for the formal request. We will be able to make such request only after the discussion with the de facto authorities and based on what is the reality on the ground at the moment. Those things will be probably known better tomorrow. When it comes to the response by the de facto authorities, I would say that under the circumstances, they have deployed 45 ambulances from the Ministry of Defense to Paktika province. They deployed 8 ambulances with the teams of doctors also from the health department. They have been providing airlifting transportation, and 4 to 5 helicopters were activated by the de facto authorities to provide air, and these are all by the Ministry of Defense, I understand, de facto Ministry of Defense. They were providing an airlifting capability. So the two national de facto authority institutions, the Disaster Management Agency, the Ministry of Defense, and the National Health Authority were involved in the response. They're also providing cash assistance, I understand, to the families of the deceased. I cannot confirm the exact amount which they are providing to the families, but they have made an announcement that they're doing so.
Can I just clarify? You said 15.
For today, yes, only today.
So yeah, just $15 million needed for today.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, and we'll now turn.
I just wanted to add that providing a comprehensive financial estimates of what is needed for the entire period just within the next within 20 hours is not possible. The real estimate and all of those details will come in the coming days.
Thank you. We'll now turn to Pam Falk from CBS.
Thank you very much, SRSG. It's Pamela Falk from CBS. UNICEF has put out a statement that they're there and that children and many people were injured more because of the hour people were sleeping. Can you speak to how many UN agencies, you mentioned quite a few, are actually on the ground already helping? And second question is on the rescue equipment that you mentioned. There are obviously many sanctions on the country by governments around the world. Is there a request by the de facto authorities or the Taliban to lift sanctions to get more rescue equipment in? Have they communicated that at all to you? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pamela. First of all, when it comes to the UN agencies, we have UNICEF, IOM, WHO, WFP on the grounds, in UNHCR on the grounds. We have International Rescue Committee, CARE, Norwegian Refugee Council, Dakar, Danish Refugee Council, WSTA, and a few other organizations on the ground responding. So I would say that we have mobilized quite quickly in terms of deployment, and I briefed many times here in this room that we actually do have an access throughout the country, which is amazing, so that we were able to go. that is not an issue. You asked me a question if I do have at my hands a formal request from the de facto authorities of Afghanistan to mobilize an international search and rescue teams. I don't have it at hand. Yes, I don't have such a request in writing. What I have is the teams which are deployed on the grounds, and there is an ongoing rescue efforts. They do have certain machineries which they have deployed from their own capacity. This machinery did exist from what was given to Adnama before. I don't have a detailed account of all this machinery or what they're capable of doing with it right at the moment. I will have that information tomorrow. What we have done, we have put a preliminary feelers and asked from the neighboring countries if they would be willing and available to deploy such capacity. When it comes to the sanctions, the humanitarian operations have been clearly exempted by the UN Security Council resolution, and they are also clearly authorized under the US OFAC licenses. I do not think that an act of humanism, such as rescuing a person being trapped under the rubble, would be a subject of any ramification by the sanctions, and it should be possible to do it. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, that was very helpful. One quick follow-up is just, do they need more equipment? Are they expressing the interest in more equipment? Thank you.
At this point in time, I have 3 teams in all major locations where this had happened. I do not have a written request for it. So as I said, we have put the fillers in. If such a request will come in, we will deal with it rapidly. And as I mentioned, we've been in preliminary contacts with, we have convened the meeting also of the regional embassies and representations which are present in Kabul, and we are sharing with them such information.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
And I now turn the floor over to Maggie Bashir from Voice of America.
Hi, thanks, Mr. Alakbarov. Thank you for doing this. Just a quick question on Pakistan. You mentioned Turkey. You didn't mention anything about Pakistan. Are they assisting? Is there damage on their side of the border? Have you guys been coordinating, in touch, etc.? Could you just fill us in? Thanks.
Thank you for asking. Indeed, I had a meeting today with the Embassy of Pakistan here on the grounds as well. They are responding. They've been extremely generous, assisting on a number of humanitarian matters prior to this earthquake. Actually, we've seen a lot of generosity from that side coming into Afghanistan throughout this year. And they have also expressed the willingness to be informed of any additional needs which we may forward to them. So this discussion took place, and they're on standby. In the meantime, they have informed us about the distributions which already were supported, both by both countries. Both Turkey and Pakistan have supported some humanitarian distribution to those areas through the NGOs and charities. Thank you.
Are there any further questions? If not, I'd like to thank our guest, Ramiz Alakbarov. Thanks very much, especially for participating so late in the evening after a difficult day, and good luck as this proceeds.
Thank you very much, and we'll be glad to provide further updates, and thank you for keeping Afghanistan in the center of attention. Afghanistan needs our help. People of Afghanistan needs our help. Thank you for staying with Afghanistan. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Take care. Have a good day.